What was the thing that you wanted to particularly get today? Was it that?
I just want to respect and honour you by learning a little bit of this song and then going away.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Well, you see what I'm doing here? You watch. This finger doesn't move. You see that? E minor. Yeah. So E minor. I'm covering two strings with one finger. You may not want to do that yet, because my finger's very flat.
He's using the end of his finger for both of them. You're going to have to use two fingertips.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That'll work. The other two probably
So
better
you got
depending on what's happening next.
The E bass.
So
That's all right. Go. Right, and then I do that, but you can do that if you want. If you already got the hand there, then you switch to D. You put that on the. Put that on the bass. No, that on the bass.
Go where it tells you.
Don't rush him. Yeah. So you go.
So you're just doing pinches.
I know everybody has their own way of fingering. Like James Taylor has a beautiful left hand to watch.
No, he plays his A chords with his first finger on the second string.
Yeah.
I make people do it that way, which you just did.
Yeah.
But he plays it with his first finger on the second string.
Right.
Yeah. So he plays it the same fingering as A minor, right?
Yeah. It's bizarre.
And I don't let people do that when they say, "Well, I want to play like James is." I said, "No, try it this way. You can do that hammer on a lot better with your third finger than you can with your first."
He's just been doing it that way all his life.
And that's what they, I'm always as a
That's
teacher.
it. Now switch to the G.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, you don't want this on. That string should be open.
Ah, that's open.
Yeah. There you go. That's the E minor.
That's the E minor, but we start off with...
Yeah.
And then those two fingers basically split. Yep. And the other one goes to the sixth string. Yeah.
That's it.
And then make sure you pinch both strings up here. You want the third string in post.
both strings.
So it's two fingers on your thumb. There you go.
Okay.
And then...
Goodness gracious, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's like...
That's kind of the idea. We'll work on this at your next
See,
class.
the reason why you're struggling with that is because you've never done it before. And, it's the same for me when I'm, even now, if I'm learning something, there can be things where I'll go, why can't I get that,
No.
Because I've never done it before. So, okay, I have to think about it scientifically, and then set my hand up to do it. But I still reach that point, even though I've been playing for 50 years, I still hit those walls occasionally, and that's what it's all...
Where does the finger picking part come in like this?
Let's see. When I'm singing,
So we were talking about the arpeggio pattern. He's using his thumb there for two notes.
Yeah.
So he's playing there you go. Thumb, index, middle would be a good way to do that. Use your thumb for the second.
Use your thumb
second
for the
bass note goes. And then
there you go.
Yeah. And then your first finger. Yeah. Yeah.
And it starts off like...
The babe, I'm going to leave you finger picking pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, this here, and then, so index first.
So that has
and then your middle finger there. And they got to stay glued to those strings.
So 1, 2, 3.
So two thumbs.
1, 2, 3.
In the other order. This one first, before this one. Two thumbs.
Two thumbs.
Two thumbs. Then you're in, not there though.
The thumb should go to the fourth.
Good.
That's it.
Then your index
Then
finger.
your index finger.
Then your second
Then the
finger.
second. That's it.
Yeah.
And the same thing again.
Yeah, so just get that pattern down. You got to dial that pattern in before you worry about connecting the chords.
That's
and
right.
Stuff. And this has to be automatic, where you don't even have to look at it and can't be thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's the real key.
There's your practice now, is to get that right.
And be really in 5 notes. Wait. Yeah. And that's the end.
And then start
You
again.
keep coming back with this
right.
finger. You're playing too many.
Got it.
Boom. That's it.
Yeah. Two thumbs.
Yeah.
I gotta whip them quick.
Yeah.
That's my job as a teacher. Is like, if you make the mistake 20 times, you're gonna have it glued down. And if you play it correctly 20 times, you're gonna have it glued that way.
Yeah.
So it's like when they come back to a lesson and then practiced it wrong, I said, how many times did you do that? And they go, a couple hundred. I said, okay, then you need 500 of this correctly this week.
That's right.
To fix the 300 you just did wrong.
That's right.
Last week.
Yeah. It's a whole different world.
See, one thing that you this obviously came very naturally to you, and so you're dissecting it and thinking, what do I do with every single move? Is sometimes probably tedious, huh? I mean, when you're trying to explain it to somebody.
When I'm trying to, I'm not really good at explaining stuff really. To
well,
people.
it's because it's so natural for you and stuff, and people who had to work harder to get really good are more analytical about it as they're not that you had an easy road. I know, but I'm just saying. You had a high. People ask me sometimes. It's like, well, what? Some people have a high natural level of ability, and some have low. And I'll bring up the story of maybe Leo Kottke and John Fahey. Two perfect examples of Leo had a lot of natural ability. He could move his fingers fast, and John never did. John had to work very hard to play things very painstakingly and slow and tediously.
I didn't know John, but I know his music.
Yeah, I don't know either of them either, but I can just tell from the way he plays that he worked really hard to make that happen.
Yeah.
Kind of like John Williams and Julian Bream. Julian Bream works his tail off to get everything he does, and Williams, it's a snap.
Yeah. Well, they're both brilliant.
Oh yeah.
And the other day, Christopher Parkening came down in LA. He brought 6 of his students down to my sound check, and it was just great to meet this great master. A guy I admired. I mean, Chet Atkins just loved him so much and admired him so much, and it was just great. It was so wonderful of him to do that.
Yeah.
And he's encouraged his students to learn some of my tunes and stuff, which is really nice.
Wow.
Even though they're learning classical as well.
Sure.
They switch around.
Yeah.
See, this is the younger generation.
And
whereas in the old days it was like you either play classical or you don't. You know what I mean. Whereas the line's getting grayer between the other side.
A friend of mine was hosting Christopher Parkening someplace when he was in San Jose a while ago, just taking him around. He was kind of like his guide, and he said it was very strange because he always had to be in disguises and things like that. Or this was like 30 years ago, and he felt very paranoid, I think. And I know he wandered into my store one time with this guy, and unbeknownst to me, and heard some really fancy finger picking going on a steel string guitar. And Mike, my friend that was with him, said he walked out of there just like with the Vampire's Cross. He said, "Oh, the steel string guitar." It's like I'm sure he's changed now because it's sort of taken over.
Well, it's like Segovia is saying there is no such thing as an electric guitar. There's only the classical guitar, and that's all. And that's why Chet were studied with Segovia, and but Segovia kind of banished him when he found out that Chet played electric guitar. He banished him.
He was done.
Wow.